Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. And today, again, we're going to read some Reddit stories while I play Minecraft, and you guys get to do something else that you're doing and just relax. So, we're gonna just get right into it. The first story of today is from the subreddit Am I the A hole? And this first story is quite a good starter, I would say. So, the title says, Am I the a hole for telling my husband that I'm going back on our agreement and I don't care if he cries about it? My husband and I both are 32 years old and have been together since we were 19. Our entire relationship feels like it just blew up in my face. Basically, I can I can't tell if I'm overreacting or no. So, she starts by saying that they both wanted one child and have planned this for years. They wanted everything to perfect. They wanted to have a home, have careers, have savings, have investments, everything. So they planned it down to the last minute detail because they both knew from very early on that once they had a baby, she would be staying home full time and raising the child. The husband's brother's life was unfortunately cut short by a daycare worker when he was just 5 months old back in 2017. So daycare wasn't an option for them basically because of the trauma and the past experience of the husband. And they needed to make sure that their babies were very like just kept at home, taken care of at home. Not that they're not gonna send them to school, but that at the age that they're vulnerable, at the least that they are most vulnerable, they're taken care of properly. So 2 years ago, they were sitting on half a million of dollars in investments, and they were having some other accounts of savings for the child's future and some other bond accounts, and they bought a house. They even bought a damn boat. Uh, that damn was quoted from the ladies typing. Everything they planned for was falling into place, and finally they started trying for a baby. She says that we now have a perfect 4 week old daughter, and she has been out of work since she was 5 months pregnant due to the placenta abruption. But otherwise, everything went fine. The mom goes on to say that the baby is perfectly healthy and she was in a good weight, and I bounced back from the delivery fairly quickly because of how much of a support system my husband was. He did more than his fair of share. He did more than his fair share while still working full time, which is partially why I cannot tell if I'm being dramatic or if this is hormones or PPD or whatever. I'm legitimately livid. So basically, earlier this afternoon, I got a phone call from the DHHS to go over health insurance options and whether or not the baby is eligible for a state insurance based off our income. I had already given the HHS all of our info, so social security numbers, DOB, etc. And when they called yesterday, I was just waiting for all of our info and assets to be pulled. Anyways, the DHSS agent calls and says that we aren't eligible because my husband makes too much money and that we will need to add her to our private insurance. And absolutely no problem at all. I kind of figured that out anyways. But then she offhandedly mentions that my husband is making $10,920 monthly gross, and that the cutoff for state insurance is about 7,830 monthly gross. Well, here's the issue. For months, my husband has been telling me that he's only making 6,000 a month after taxes. So I get off the phone and I log into my husband's computer and in his banking, and sure enough, his monthly take home is bordering around 8,500. He's transferring everything over 6,000 into an account I didn't even know existed. So I call him out on it and he breaks down and tells me that he just wanted something that was only his. And please keep in mind that all of my money has always gone into our joint account that he uses on a daily basis. So he's hiding money from me so he can have his own money while plugging away at mine. Over 45,000 he has sitting in his account, while telling me last week that we couldn't have a steak for dinner because spending $38 on two steaks was a waste of money. So I told him I'm putting the baby in daycare and going back to work because obviously I need to safeguard myself if he is hiding away money. Something feels off about it. I don't know. He instantly started crying and because of the daycare trauma and uh, just trying to convince me not to, but I truly just don't trust them financially anymore. I no longer feel secure here, and I told him that I changed my mind and I don't care if he cries about it. Am I overreacting or am I the a hole? I think like this is pretty straight up answer. No, it's pretty obvious. When you trust someone with your whole basically future and you kind of revolve your whole life around them, you expect them to be transparent at the very least with you. Especially like it could have been a little bit more forgiving, but the fact that he's like, oh, we can't have a $40 steak, but he has $50,000 sitting in his account, that is kind of like just outright insane. We don't know what he was doing, but whatever he was doing, definitely something fishy. That he was hiding it, and he wasn't willing to spend even $40 from that money. Uh, so it's insane. It's insane and so obviously problematic. And it- actually, it's nice of her to just be like, "Oh, actually, I'm sending the kid to daycare and I'm working." Like she could have had much bigger of a reaction. I feel like because this was insane, just truly insane. And in the comments, naturally, so people agree that she's not the a-hole and that uh, he doesn't get to have secret of financial security set up in case you split up while preventing you from doing the same, which I agree with. So it's pretty much unanimously agreed that he's in the wrong here. The second story is from the subreddit Today I effed up, and this one is also this is just a fun little one that I decided to include. Today I effed up by broadcasting my pre-interview hype session to the interviewers for 3 minutes straight. Uh, so he's a guy, and he starts by saying that obligatory clarification. This didn't happen today, but yesterday. I'm posting this now because I'm still physically recoiling from the shame and need to vent. I've been hunting for a new job for about 3 months now with zero luck. Finally, I landed an interview for a position I really, really wanted. It's a remote role, so the interview was scheduled via Zoom. I have this weird ritual to do before big calls to get my anxiety down. I pace around my room and hype myself up in the mirror. I'm talking full on aggressive scream. You are a weapon. You eat spreadsheets for breakfast. They are lucky to even see your face. It works for me usually, so. Uh, when I had this interview, I joined the meeting and about 10 minutes early so that I could have my camera set up, my lighting look good. So, and I see the standard waiting for host to start the meeting screen, so I assume I'm safe. Here's the massive mistake. I decided to run to the kitchen to grab a glass of water. I kept my wireless headset on so I could hear when they joined, but in my nervous state, I completely forgot that Zoom sometimes unmutes you automatically when the host joins if you don't change your settings. That is good to know. Just I'm adding this because I didn't know this actually. So that's a good little thing for everyone to know, in case you didn't know. I'm in the kitchen, pacing back and forth, and the host and the other two panel members join the call, and I don't hear them say hello or anything else because I'm literally shouting at my fridge to pump myself up. Here is a rough transcript of what they heard for about 45 seconds while looking at my empty chair. Let's go, baby. Who's the man? You're the man. Don't sweat the gap in your resume. Just lie. Gaslight them. You're a charming sociopath. Let's go. I walked back into the room, sat down, and put on my best professional smile, ready to impress them all. All three interviewers were staring at me. Dead silence. One of them, the HR lady, was red in the face, trying not to laugh. The hiring manager just looked absolutely terrified. The HR lady finally unmuted and said, "So, we definitely appreciate the enthusiasm, but just so you know, we value honesty about resume gaps." I wanted to close my laptop and move to a cave. I stammered through the rest of the interview, but I'm 100% sure I'm not getting the job. Like, it's amazing, honestly. It gives us all a valuable lesson. Firstly, that, yeah, always checks. Sometimes, for some godforsaken reason, these people decide to put a thing that it unmutes you automatically, which is insane. So, like, honestly, yeah, as the comments are saying, I agree. This is why every Zoom call should start muted by international law. Like, honestly. But, and I hope he gets a job. Like, this is really a funny story, and I feel like they should appreciate the honesty about the lying, intentional or no. But yeah, it's it's insane. Like, Zoom has betrayed him beyond measure. Okay, let's move to the third story, and this one is from, again, the "Am I the A hole?" And this one is a little bit of a more serious one. Am I the a hole for asking my dad not to be in a relationship? So the author, she's 17 years old, and she starts by saying that I'm a senior in high school. My parents have been separated since I was little, at first or second grade. She's not sure. My dad's been in a ton of relationships, at least three since they separated, and the last one was an engagement where all of us lived together for like 5 years. He and I don't really talk about his relationships. The one time he did was he told his daughter that he misses the ex girlfriend that he left his family for, and then they broke up, I guess, later. So yeah, he hasn't really talked to me about any of the other exes since. Anyway, now I'm a senior in high school, and he broke up with his fiance, so now it's just me and him living together. When I'm not at my mom's house, of course. And he just told me he's seeing someone new. I know it was really immature of me, but I kind of freaked out at him. I wasn't crying at first, but I was really upset and asked him if he could just wait until I leave for college or to start dating someone new. It's less than a year, and I really, sorry, and really only 6 months since my graduation is at the end of May. I kept asking if we could just have some time with just us, the two of us, instead of someone else, but he got really mad at me, saying it wasn't fair of me to ask him that. Don't I want him to be happy, and it's not all about me, and stuff like that. I didn't say this to him, but really in my head I was thinking that I don't care about him being very happy right now because it feels like it's always about him and his happiness, which I know is a really unkind thing to say, but think and say, but I'm being honest. If I'm being honest, it's how I feel. But I didn't say it to him. I just kept asking for these last 6 months to just be us. Eventually, he just stopped answering me and went to bed, so I did too. And he didn't really talk to me this weekend. It The whole thing happened on Thursday night. I know I'm being selfish because I am asking him to make it about me and not be happy with his new woman. I don't know her name, but I'm only going to be here for 6 more months and then I'm leaving for college. I don't know where I'm going to go yet, but I haven't applied to any schools in our city, so I'm definitely going to be living wherever I go. I'll come home for holidays and stuff, but I'll be splitting that time with my mom and dad, so it feels like these next 6 months are kind of the end of it. I know I'm almost 18 and should be more mature, but when he told me, I just suddenly felt like a little kid again, which is probably why I started crying at the end, which was really embarrassing. I don't know how to explain it. I can't really talk to my friends about it, and it feels embarrassing. And whenever I talk to my mom about things like this, I feel bad because she never wants to say anything bad about him to me, even though I know she really, really doesn't like him. But she's amazing at putting on a polite face. This one again is kind of a unanimous vote in the comments and common sense. Like the dad is a deadbeat. He leaves the family for a girl and then he breaks up with her and then he keeps trying more and more and more and bringing them home to live with his daughter. And I don't even understand why he has the custody at this point, honestly. Um, yeah, it's insane, and she's feeling sad about saying this, but I feel like it was actually the slightest and the most polite thing that she could have said. It's just 6 months. Just for once, I feel like you should just be able to stop for 6 months, or saying that everything isn't about her. Like no, yeah, she's right. Everything is about him. He has kind of changed her whole life just because he wanted to be stupid and do stuff he liked. So in the comments again, it's a unanimous vote uh, that he's just wrong and she's asking for a reasonable thing. Uh, People are also mentioning that yeah, him being in a relationship isn't really the problem. Him prioritizing relationships over you, the daughter, is the problem. Which I guess I understand. Yes, after they are done, they divorced. Having relationships isn't the problem, but making the daughter's life tough for them and talking even to her about them is the problem. Very much agreed. So yeah, kind of a sad one, really. Hopefully, she goes to college ASAP and she gets to build her own life. The fourth story is from the same subreddit again, and this is a little bit of a like understandable one. I kind of because I lived with roommates, housemates technically for a while, so I get the point of it. It says, "Am I the a-hole for sleeping naked in my own room?" So the guy starts by saying that since I was a teenager, I've always slept naked and I've always got too hot at night, and it's just generally way more comfortable for me to sleep that way. Whenever I leave my room, I'm always dressed, or at the very least, have shorts or something on if I'm going to or from the shower. My roommate knows this, and up to this point, he has had no problem with it and always knock on each other doors anyway to be polite. We always knock on each other doors anyways to be polite. The issue started when he brought over his girlfriend to stay a couple of nights. We all got along pretty well and we have all hung out a few times before, but this was the first time that she had come over and spent the night. We had all gone out drinking and got home pretty late, so once we all walked in, we just went straight to sleep. I, of course, went to the bed with my usual routine of taking my clothes off and just hopping in the bed. Well, sometime during the night, my roommate's girlfriend needed to use the bathroom, but she didn't know which room it was. My room and the bathroom are right next to each other, so she opened my door by mistake. I have a vague memory of her opening my door, but I was half asleep, and when she closed it, I went right back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up, and my roommate and his girlfriend were upset with me because when she walked in, she saw everything, and she was mad that I would sleep naked when a guest was over in the first place. They both said I need to start wearing clothes to sleep since my roommate's girlfriend is gonna probably be sleeping over more often and it makes her uncomfortable. My argument was that I'm in my own private room away from both of them and that while I understand it was a mistake, it's still her fault that she walked in on me as sleeping. It's been a few days and my roommate still won't let it go. I still sleep naked, and now once on purpose, he's walked in on me sleeping just to see if I was naked or not. I don't really care about him seeing me naked because we've seen each other naked before, but this is getting really out of hand. I don't think I should have to wear clothes to sleep just because it makes his girlfriend uncomfortable, even though I'm in my own private room. And I'm first going to say my idea about it that I think is super understandable. It's his own room. He closes the door. He doesn't go out without clothes. So long as he's in his own room, I don't think anybody should have any sort of say on what he's doing. Yes, if he was walking outside naked, that would have definitely been something in a common area. But when you're in your own room, you're in your own room. You have rights to do pretty much anything you want, especially something like this that does not affect people outside in any way, shape, or form. So I don't get the roommate, housemate, and the girlfriend being this upset about it and making this so much about themselves that she's uncomfortable with it. Well, she can just not open his door. I don't really get this that much. And the comments are, of course, again kind of unanimously saying that no, you're not the problem. Your request is understandable. And he has later given an update and edit and said that to everyone saying I should lock my door and add a lock, I would really like to. Unfortunately, the place we are staying at doesn't want us to change the door handles or anything, so I can't do that. And he's saying that he's looking at ways to stop his door from opening that isn't like a barricade or that drills into the door. Hopefully, he finds something. I don't really know. And he said he edited it and added another update saying that a lot of you recommended the door stopper because they're super cheap and easy to use, and that's what I've ended up going with. So thank you all who recommended them. And okay, so I've had a talk with my roommate and brought up some of the points the people in the comments made. For starters, I brought up how it's hypocritical to ask me not to sleep naked since they are most definitely naked when they're having, you know what, in the same home as me. And he said that that was different since they're not sleeping that way and usually hang something on the door handle. It's not different, and hanging something on the door handle doesn't change it because nobody's jumping into your room. You're gonna first knock. So that's actually a very good point. And I also brought up the point that now she knows which door leads to the bathroom, so it shouldn't really happen again whenever she spends the night. And he said that it still makes her uncomfortable, which doesn't really make sense. Mm, so he ends up saying that yeah, they're not really comfortable with it, but I'm just putting a door stop in my room to make sure it doesn't happen again. And if they're still not satisfied, then they're just gonna have to deal with it. Which I agree with. He's not doing anything wrong. He hasn't done anything wrong. I'm gonna die on this hill. So, the next story is from the subreddit of Am I Overreacting? And the author says that Am I overreacting? My girlfriend is pretending to be autistic and it's driving me nuts. This is I try to throw in a few fun ones every now and again, and I love this one actually. It's so short but also so funny because people like this really exist and it's just it's so funny. Just let me get into it. So a couple of months ago, my the guy is 32 years old and the girlfriend is also 32 years old. My long-term girlfriend watched a TikTok about 5 signs you might be autistic, or something like that, and she's now utterly convinced she's on the spectrum. Her reasons: she always felt she was different. She never had many good friends, only a trusted few. She routinely does things like cleaning. She always had very specific hobbies like animals and books. Very specific. At first, I thought she was joking, but soon she started beginning sentences with as an autistic person on a daily basis. Whenever she meets something up, she messes something up. I'm sorry. Whenever she messes something up, she now says, "Oh, that's because of my autism. I don't always know when I do something wrong." She started sharing Instagram reels about how hard it is to not be like other people. She never had any problems reading faces, social cues, or socializing in general. She's very open and extroverted person. She enjoys clubbing and concerts much more than me. Concerts. No, whenever we go out and meet new people, she makes sure to tell them she's autistic right away, and it's insanely embarrassing to watch them slowly realize she's talking out of her guts, let's say. Yesterday at a host party, a couple we just met came up to me and started asking questions about living with an autistic person that made me snap, and I straight up told him she's not. And when we returned home, I told my girlfriend either to get an official diagnosis or stop telling everybody about her autism like it's a fun personality quirk, because it's embarrassing and frankly insulting to people with actual autism. She started crying, told me she doesn't need a diagnosis because she just knows, and sarcastically thanked me for my support and went to bed. Today she got up and went to work with just saying a word, without saying a word. Am I overreacting? Am I missing something here? She never acted like this before. She is usually a rational, mature woman. If she gets diagnosed, I'll apologize, of course, but am I wrong to refuse to participate in something I think is either a lie or a delusion? Okay, so yeah, just insanely funny. Again, if she gets diagnosed, we are all wrong. But based on what he's saying, we don't know. We can never be sure. We're not doctors, but if she's refusing to get diagnosed, and at the same time, her reasons are kind of funny that she thinks she's autistic. So it's just a funny thing that I feel like she's using maybe as an excuse to do a stuff and then get away with it. And she also, yeah, might really think that it's just a fun personality quirk, as she is so happy to just jump in and introduce herself to new people like that. So I just like it. I don't know how to say it. And it is unfortunately kind of trending nowadays for everybody to just self diagnose themselves with this stuff. So, yeah, I just want to say I was so amused by the specific hobbies like animals and books. Like, could not help could not think of anything less specific, even if I tried, honestly. So, yeah, that was good. The next story is from the Today I effed up subreddit. We go back to that quite a few times. I know it's a really good gold mine, I would say. Today I effed up by asking my boyfriend what was really wrong with his mental state. This is going to be long, so sorry in advance. I, 23 female, have been with my boyfriend, 24 male, for 1.5 years. We are long distance between two European countries, but see each other once or twice a month and for long periods over the summer and university breaks. And it's very manageable. We are both studying our masters and we are busy enough so it feels fine. I am going to move to his country in 2 years when I finish. For the first year of our relationship, we were so good. The bedroom life was amazing, passion was amazing, and I was so certain I had found my person and was making plans to spend the rest of my life with him. In the last 6 months, he's been increasingly less interested in me, but still very, very lovey dovey. So I was confused. And by me, she means physically. I know it's not physical because I'll be honest, I look great, and anyone with eyes and who is attracted to women would agree. A little bit, maybe too much of an ego, but okay. She continues to say he eventually opened up that his mental health wasn't the best, but he wasn't ready to talk, so I gave him time and didn't press it. But just before Christmas, while I was staying with him, I pressed a little more and got some of why he's been feeling bad. He says that he loves me so much and doesn't think he could do better than me, but he worries that he's trapped and that he's spending his youth in a committed relationship while he's never traveled or anything by himself. He also wants to do Erasmus, which is a study abroad program in Europe, if you don't know, and isn't sure he wants to do this in a relationship. He is adamant that he genuinely wants to spend his life with me, hence why he feels so bad about feeling this way, but just wanted to tell me where his is at. When I pressed him more later that night, he also told me that whilst he was clubbing, a girl asked if he wanted to make out with him, and he said no and went home, but he only went home because he was very tempted and wanted to say yes. Other than all this, I know his mental health is very bad and he's quite fragile. So I feel like I can't even respond in any normal way without putting him at risk of harming himself. but also we don't sleep together. The passion is gone. The love is so strong, but I'm just not happy, and I feel like an idiot for staying with him. I'm planning my whole life around moving to his home country and learning his language. I told him I will give him time to talk to his psychiatrist and figure it out because I don't want to abandon him over overthinking, but I don't know how long I'm supposed to put up with being so sincerely unsatisfied. Other than this, he is an incredible boyfriend and is so kind, loving, supporting, and he is my absolute world. I never want to know another person as minutely as I know him. That was a trap. I'm so comfortable with him, and that is why this is so awful. And any advice is appreciated. So, um, firstly, people kind of were mean to her in the comments, so she edited and said that, uh, saying that, oh, she's like, she definitely looks good and stuff like that, and that's on the eyes of the beholder. And she also added that he has depression, had it before we met, and had it when he had been single for 2 years, and he sees a therapist for it. It was manageable when they met, but has been slowly getting worse for 6 months. Um, so yeah, this one, uh, well, first of all, it's in the wrong subreddit. I feel like because she didn't do anything, she just uh learned information that she should know. I guess it's not really something that she did, more like what she learned. And I think that they are just at different mindsets, I guess, at this stage of their life. So it's like wrong of him to stay with her, even though he's having these thoughts and he can't manage them. Like if he's having these thoughts and he's transparent with them and he is managing them, like having he can have his solo trip while he's in a relationship. He can have this, he can have other stuff, but if he thinks that he can't have or enjoy them while he's in a relationship, then he should have told her and or managed it. But if he can't manage it, this to the point that he's actively, like, barely not cheating because that's what he said. He said that he wanted to say yes, but he managed to control himself. So I feel like the main issue is not being able to manage it and not being transparent about it. So if he feels like he can get over the thinking and manage it and realize that, okay, is this what he wants, or does he want to, yeah, go and be single in this years? Uh, he's just tagging her along, essentially, and that is wrong to do. So I feel like the issue has some layers, and I'm going to read some of the comments to see other people's ideas. One guy who's 31 years old says that he was at his stage once and he had a phenomenal, gorgeous girlfriend, and he broke up with her because he still wanted to just go around, and he says that he still regrets it to this day. And yeah, as understandable, he suggests that she just dumps him and goes her way. I think that, like, it's a bit extreme, but like yeah, he's not ready to kind of settle down as much as she is. So that's two different levels of stages of life, even though they're at the same age. So he's not. I don't know. Their ideas of relationships and having fun are different, I guess. So they're not really compatible in this way, and because his thoughts are starting to become actions, and he's not managing them. So that's the main issue. And so long as he can't manage them enough that it doesn't hurt the relationship, then they should break up, I would say. So yeah, I would say that's an end to that story. The next story is from the subreddit r slash advice, and the title is, "Should I Tell My Math Teacher That His Fiance Is Cheating on Him?" This is a bit of a controversial one. She just starts by saying that she is 16 years old and goes to a K-12 school. In case you don't know what that is, the explanation is on your screen right now. And she has been going there for 5 years. She says that our school is very small, which means you get a lot more one on one time with the teachers, and you also may have some multiple years in a row. So you could have the same teacher in a row for a few years. This is her fourth year having the math teacher that is 28 years old, and they are, she calls themselves acquaintances, and she says that he's friendly and generally helped her when she needed it. And she says that I obviously don't know him well personally, but he genuinely seems like a good person. Around a year ago, my math teacher started dating a science teacher at our school. I've only had her twice, but we're also acquainted. So over the summer, my math teacher and my science teacher got engaged. The whole student body was very happy for them, and including myself. Both of them, my math teacher especially, seem much happier now. A couple days ago, I was out and about, just people watching, when I saw my science teacher with a man I had never seen before. This man was definitely not my math teacher, different hair and body type. And this was definitely my science teacher, because she had an identical arm tattoo. Also, I saw her face. Totally fine, right? Well, then I noticed that they were acting like a couple. I watched for a little bit longer and watched as they kissed again and again with their hands all over each other. They really left no room for denial. Me being stupid, I didn't take a photo or anything like that. I was too shocked. So now I'm conflicted. I can barely look at my math teacher in the eyes. I want to tell him. I feel like it's the only right thing to do. But also, who am I to intrude on their relationship? Something about professional boundaries, and it's not like I'm a close friend. However, I think I would feel incredibly guilty if I watched them get married knowing full well one of them was unfaithful. It shouldn't matter, but my math teacher and I really are quite close. I see him as a bit of a mentor, and I feel so incredibly bad for him, and I'm overall just left very confused as to what to do. So, should I tell my math teacher or no? And well, that's kind of the end, and then I will add the note she added later. I think that this is a really like, it depends on who you ask, they are gonna give totally different answers. Some people are just going to outright say no, not your problem, not your relationship, not any of your business, and they would be right in their own way. Some other people are gonna say that yeah, no, maybe you should say in some way, but they would be right in their own way, but a little bit more wrong, because there aren't many ways to say it without getting involved. And usually, when you get involved in a relationship, usually actually the fight finishes between those two people, and you're the one who is left as the bad person who ruined the relationship or tried to ruin the relationship. And I was reading the comments, and they were saying that, oh, maybe leave an anonymous note, but that can just be read by the math teacher as a prank or something, because it's anonymous, there's no source for it. He would just throw the note out. And so I think that this is just, uh, firstly, there's another angle. I'm gonna add this. Some people said that maybe they're in an open relationship, and she adds a note and says, I highly doubt that, because they are both conservative Christians. Not to mention that they live in a very conservative area. I think you never know, okay? And I think in such a situation, you're not even their close family, you're not their family. Yeah, maybe you know them, but still, I feel like it's really just intruding. Uh, Even if it's the right thing to do to tell him, maybe some people might think that, some might not. I think you should just not include yourself and just stay out of it. Uh, it's kind of none of your business. It's people's personal life, I would say. So the comment section is very, very torn apart. Some saying that you should say, some saying that you shouldn't, some saying that the result may vary. Uh, so, like they say that write an anonymous email, some say talk with them personally. I feel like just keep it to yourself. And, well, we haven't got an update yet. So maybe someday we will have an update of this post and see what she ended up doing. I am going to read the next story now, and the next story is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? And the title says, Am I the a hole for digging to find out the reason my parents divorced and hate each other so much? So, the writer is a 16-year-old guy, and he says that I have grown up with parents who can't stand each other. They did their best to keep it from me and my sister, who is 15 years old, but there were times it slipped. It happened a couple of times when my dad would bring his girlfriend Anya along to events for me and my sister, and my mom would be bursting with anger. She was never able to hide how much it bothered her that that girl was present, and she was more than 3 years with that before she started coming or playing or in any kind of role in our lives. It would piss that off when mom was rude to her or just overall looking hostile. The other time was when her dad and stepdad were in the same space at the wrong time. One time, even though they probably thought we couldn't see, we saw the two of them screaming at each other, and my dad walked away, but I honestly thought he was going to punch my stepdad. Me and my sister never knew the reason for the divorce. We just knew that our parents would pretend things were civil, and dad never spoke badly about mom or our stepdad, and our mom didn't much either, but it happened once or twice. After the fight, where I thought dad would hit my stepdad, I started to really question what was going on. So I asked around. I asked so many family members and family friends until I found out my mom and stepdad had an affair, and it was going on for long enough that dad had to DNA test me and my sister. And it was confirmed positive. We are his, but there was bad blood. My mom wanted our stepdad to be seen as equal dad, and he wanted to do the same. But she hated that me and my sister liked dad's girlfriend, and really gave her and dad hell for us liking that girlfriend. I always promised my sister I would tell her if I found out what happened, and I told her. We were both really angry, and we told dad we knew first. Uh, we talked to him, and he still wouldn't say much, but he said he wanted us to be happy, even if he had to tolerate certain things. We confronted mom after that, and she was furious and demanded to know who told me. I told her I asked around a lot of people, and I wouldn't tell her who actually spilled. She told us we couldn't let this change anything because her and my stepdad are our parents, and we will always be, and he's a good man who loves us as his own children, and we better not pull any stuff over this. She said it was nothing to do with us. I told her it did when we had to be DNA tested and we didn't get to have a happy family. I told her she was the cheater and she created the awful environment for us, and our stepdad helped her. My stepdad came home when we were still talking, and he was so fast to blame my dad. But I told him it wasn't dad, and he had no right to be mad at dad when he tried to take his whole family from him. So I got into trouble for saying that, but I'm calling it like I see it. Even as a kid, I knew he would try to come up with some stuff to make us ask dad to spend less time with him. He'd offer to take me to a game, or be planning to camp with me or other stuff. My mom has this issue now with the fact that I asked around. She told me I should have minded my own business because I make everything worse. She asked me what I gained, and I told her I gained a better respect for my dad and the ability to see through her and my stepdad. We told her and our stepdad we wanted to live with dad full time, no more 50-50, and my mom said no. But when my stepdad realized he wasn't going to have a good relationship with us anymore, he told mom to let us go because it would only upset our half siblings to live like that. Now we live with dad, and mom's more angry that I dug up like that. She told me I ruined our family and destroyed everything. Okay, so that last line was insane. So I'm just going to start from there. Mm, we can't say for sure that the mom ruined everything. We don't know the whole story, like why the cheating happened, what was going on behind that, how was the relationship before the cheating. It seems like a really long term cheating, so it's not probably something that, oh, the dad wasn't treating her well, because that's cheating and then coming up, and then like it would come out of the dark, and then they would talk about it. This is long term, like 16 years apparently. uh the, the boy is 16 years old, and they have had divorced. He doesn't mention how long they were divorced, but the dad was with the girlfriend 3 plus years, so they were probably like maybe 10 years old when they were divorced or something like that. So that's a long time for cheating to go on and eventually become a whole other relationship after the first one divorced and separated. So uh, yeah, the kid isn't wrong. First of all, to go looking through. I feel like I would do the same. Like you are going to be curious and you're going to want to know why all of these things are happening to you at that age. So definitely no, the kid did not ruin the family. At the very least, the most surface level, we could say the mom and the stepdad did. But again, we don't know the whole story, but from the parts that we know. So there is that. There is the that relative that told him the story. Who was that? Maybe he was from the dad's family. There is too many plot holes to really be like, oh, you're right or you're wrong. I can only say that the kid isn't wrong for looking for the truth. Whether he found the truth or no, it seems like he did because of the mom and the stepdad's reaction, but we don't know whether he did or no. So we don't really know the story. We just know the version of the story that some relative told this kid. It could be the right version or it could be wrong or altered. But generally, uh, seems like that the mother is in the wrong. She's a terrible mother, and she was actually, in fact, the one that ruined the family. The comments kind of agree on my point, and they say that the mother's character was revealed to him in so many ways, uh, and that he should have at least had a hunch about this beforehand. I don't really know about that. And the other comments say that they're feeling bad for the dad, etc., etc. Uh, yeah, we can't really judge that much because again, we don't really know really what the story is. So, the next story is about. It's from the "Am I overreacting" subreddit, and this is a little bit of a. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend can't fix things. When I step in to take care of it, he's such a baby about it that I'm ready to dump him. We've been together for 2 years, living together for the last 4 months. Our fuel tank ran bone dry, and we live in deep north and rely on fuel for heat. So I called in a favor and got our tank filled. My boyfriend put on his overalls, grabbed a multi tool, and went to the basement to light the furnace. He went up and down the stairs for a few times over an hour before sitting at the table to eat. I overheard him calling a friend asking them to come by with a wrench. I grabbed a socket with a 3.8 bit and quietly sneaked downstairs. Fuel's been out for a couple of hours at most, so longest story short, I bled the line intermittently in between the light ignitions and until it ran clear. No air and no foam, no brainer, simple. After 5 minutes, he comes downstairs and uh, says that his buddy is on the way with the wrench and that I'm doing it wrong and it's bleeding too much. So she just goes on and tells him that no, actually, I fixed it, no worries. And then he said he didn't want to try it my way, and the storm's off. Last week, my truck pan heater plug snapped. It literally just broke at the plug end from the sheer cold. He said he wanted to look after this for me since I've been so busy. 2 days later, he said it can't be fixed and I need to book with a mechanic. I woke up extra early on December 24th and I snuck out to the hardware store to grab a plug end. I finished the work in 20 minutes in minus 40 centigrade weather. When I shared with him what I did, I was so excited that, oh, I'm pretty handy and stuff like that. Uh, but he responded with so much disdain. Oh, good, I was going to do that. I just didn't have the wire snippers. I was happy to do it and thanked him for trying anyways. His reaction actually hurt me and put a damper on Christmas morning. I told him the following day that as much as I appreciate his willingness, I don't need him to do these kinds of acts of services for me, and it actually hurts me when he dismisses my skills and doesn't even ask for advice or tools when he's trying to accomplish anything. Like, what are you calling a friend for? Your girl, the apparent love of your life and best friend, is just a spit away. And you're in luck, buddy. She's pretty decent hand. She has a pretty decent hand. In the last 4 months, there has been so many instances like this. The bathroom exhaust fan, the garage door opener, the lawnmower, and the iron gate, everything. Gate, everything. There's more than I can just count with my fingers, and every time he tries to fixes it and actually makes it worse, and eventually I have to step in and fix it, and then he just snaps at me. She has come to answer the comments that have you communicated your feelings with your boyfriend? She says yes. Why did you interrupt your boyfriend halfway through potentially fixing it? Because he couldn't accept my help, and it was really cold, so I couldn't take it longer. Why didn't you just call a mechanic? She says that because it was minus 40 degrees cold for over a month, and mechanics are booking 6 to 8 weeks out. Why are you sneaking around fixing the stuff and not openly fixing it like a regular human being? Because she says that she wants to avoid the discomfort she experiences when he finds out and gets annoyed. Pretty funny situation, pretty sad situation. Like, either you can fix it or you can't, but you shouldn't be salty about it, I guess. I think he's overreacting, she isn't overreacting, and it's something that he really has to work through. Either learn or just accept that he's not gonna fix his stuff, and that's okay. She can fix them, so like I get the a stain on his ego, but either you have to have something to have an ego for, so go and learn to fix it, or just don't have that kind of ego. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully you had a good time, and I will see you in the next video.